Hello everyone and welcome to lesson 1.4, compiling your research part 2. So this is just the second part of the first lesson. So by the end of this lesson you should be able to produce most, if not all, of your 13 to 15 sources that you will need to build your historical investigation paper. Just a few reminders before you move forward. By now, you should all have approval of the first 5 sources found on your previous class session. So remember, by the end of 1.3, you should have had 5 of your sources available, and I have already approved those. You have avoided Wikipedia and other poor sources. You are making sure that you're using credible sources. You have looked back to make sure that the sources you're using are actual legitimate sources. You have also make sure that you are keeping a running list of your sources. Please, please, please do not just use random things because you're going to have to recite these things. So you're just making sure you're keeping a list of some sort. You should also have run them through the generator by now and copied and pasted footnote and bibliography entry for your sources. So I know that 90% of you are going to do this at the end. I do know that, but I strongly advise against it. So you should have already run this through a generator and already starting to plug in your footnotes and bibliographies. This is going to save you a lot of time if you do it now, so trust me on it, but if you don't, that's up to you. So what should you be doing now? You should have completed your 13 to 15 sources by the end of this particular lesson or by the end of this particular week. So what this means is that by the end of this week, if you have finished your 13 to 15 sources, you can actually spend this weekend not doing anything on the historical investigation, and then next week when we come back you will be able to begin the next part of the historical investigation. So use your time wisely in class to get your last few sources up to 10 is the bare minimum. Roughly 13 to 15 is better. Once you get that done by the end of this class, or at least by the end of the academic week, you will have nothing to do this weekend. So you should have both primary and secondary sources in your HI. Don't forget that. You should have you may have more than 15 sources if you would like to. That's perfectly fine, but you may not have any less than 10. 10 is the absolute minimum. And remember, if you have 10, some people in the IB still do consider that an undersourced paper, but 10 is the bare minimum for us. And then you need to seek out your teacher for help, or a trusty friend that you can that may be a little bit ahead of pace on you to help you out if you need it. So reach out to any two colleagues that you may have, or to me if you need any assistance. And this concludes our lesson for 1.4, Compiling Research Part 2. So by the end of this lesson, you should have produced all, if most, if not all, of your 13 to 15 sources to help you build your historical investigation papers. So if you have done that, then you are done with lesson 1.4. Give yourself a round of applause. You're amazing, and you're moving forward and moving closer to completing and ending your historical investigation. At this point, you want to complete any activities that are available in lesson 1.4, and remember, you cannot move forward until your teacher has approved your first 5 sources. So if you have not yet gotten that approval from me, you need to make sure you go back and get that approval for the first 5 sources, because you will not be able to move forward to the next step after this research part in the historical investigation until your first 5 sources have been approved. So make sure you have sought that out for me. Thank you so much for your attention. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of the time researching. Thanks so much.